Hey everybody, Matt McKay here with Safeguard Insurance, and I'm excited to bring you some information about dental, vision, and hearing. We're asking the question, is dental vision and or hearing coverage worth it? I know that you may have your questions. I know a lot of people's immediate response is, not worth it. I've heard that it's not worth it. My dentist says it's not worth it. My optometrist, whatever. Well, guess what? I believe that it is for some people. Sometimes it's not, and that's okay. But I will say that you should definitely look into it, reevaluate what you believe about dental vision and hearing, because there are situations where it's absolutely worth it to have dental insurance, vision insurance, or even a hearing benefit included in a policy as well. So, really want to get into it. I've got some nuggets for you, so stick around and make sure that you hear it out, because I think it's going to make a difference in the way that maybe you think about dental, vision, and hearing insurance. So, first of all, many people hold the position that dental or vision or whatever is just not worth it. Well, I kind of want to spell that myth, because I don't believe that's completely true. Now, I will say, for some people, just the way you look at the world, you're going to say that it's not worth it no matter what. And that's fine. Maybe it's not for you. If you have tons of money and you're not worried about paying some small bills up to $3, $4, $5,000, fine. I understand that. In that case, you may not ever see that it's valuable. However, if you do the math, I believe some dental plans are worth it. Now, some are not. Some vision plans are not necessarily worth it. Sometimes, though, people have certain vision issues and they may save several $100s just by having a plan, and they need to make changes every year or two. So having that plan makes complete sense to them. So it really is an individual case-by-case basis. We'll even talk about group coverage within this conversation as well, because that's a separate animal. But first of all, I believe it's completely factual to say that dental, vision, and hearing coverage is worth it. Now, some of it's not. Let me give you an example. And I really, when I look at these policies, I think it's about the math, okay? And I know you may not be that great at math or whatever. That's not the point. But definitely do the math. If you pay $35 a month for an individual, okay, and you get $1,000 benefit, okay, 35 times 12 is $420. And let's say that you have a $50 deductible. So that means guaranteed in 1 year, you're going to spend $470 just to have dental insurance. And the benefit that you're going to get back out after you spend an extra $50 and those premiums is $1,000. So you're really only benefiting $530 if you use the $1,000 benefit. Is that worth it? No, I don't think that's worth it, because most people can string together $500, put it on a credit card or whatever. That's not that big of a deal to most people. But if you know you're going to use it, you can make the case that that's still somewhat worth it. But in my opinion, that's not generally worth it. However, if I can get you something for that same price or less, $29, $33, $35, and get you a $2,000 to $3,000 benefit for a $30 premium, that starts to become a little bit more interesting to me. Because if you spend $30 a month, that's $360. Say you have a $50 deductible. 50 is pretty standard. You can go as low as $25 deductible. Some of them actually have zero. Some have 100, whatever. But so you have a $50 deductible, very standard. Okay? So you pay $360 for that $30 premium and a $50 deductible. But you have a maximum benefit of, let's say, $2,500. Okay? You're only putting out $300, $400 to potentially have a $2,500 benefit per year. Okay? That is a little bit more enticing. You're getting potentially 5 times your investment, or a little bit more each year. Okay, that's something that you can work with, because if you do come in and you need to get a crown or a bridge or a bunch of fillings, or say you're even looking at implants or dentures, and that when you do those kinds of things, you're going to have a lot of charges to it. You're looking at pushing into that $2,500 benefit pretty well. At that point, it becomes worth it. The way I look at that insurance is, if my cleanings, look at an average cleaning, $100 to $200 generally at the dentist. When you get your x-rays done, it's more. That's one time a year. So let's say that you're all in for just getting cleanings and x-rays done is $300-$400 a year. Well, if your premium is that, then that washes out. And then if you ever have a cavity, or you have some other concern, you need to get a tooth pulled, whatever it is, you're coming out ahead on that investment. And in some of those years where you do have a $2,000 charge, guess what? You've actually got something good. Vision insurance, I would say the same thing in some ways. You're going to save a few $100s if you have glasses or contacts. You're going to have an exam that costs less. You're going to have $150 benefit on frames or whatever it is. You're going to save a little bit. If it costs you $10 a month, that's $120. If you're going to save more than that, it's worth it. If you're never going to go to the vision doctor and you're never going to go to the dentist, then you're completely wasting your money. Otherwise, I believe that it's pretty much worth it. Hearing policies, I know you've heard me say hearing. There are not very many hearing policies out there that are just hearing. I don't know of actually any, but they're usually attached as riders. So they only enhance the benefits that are offered with your dental and vision. Another side note, you may be on Medicare. Medicare Advantages often offer dental, vision, and hearing, and a lot of times there's no extra premium for it. Or you may be offered an extra dental package. Be careful with those extra dental packages. Sometimes they're not that great. Sometimes they're great, but usually they're not. But anyway, you may be offered for free dental, vision, and hearing coverage, and that's just bonus in addition to your medical coverage. So that's a completely different conversation, which we can do in another video. But I'll just say this: if you're offered something in a Medicare Advantage, it's definitely something to consider, to look at those options. Okay, so if you're on Medicare, check out Medicare Advantage if you really have dental, vision, and hearing needs. If you're not on Medicare, well, then that opens several doors and several questions. If you're on group insurance, if you're offered coverage through your work, sometimes that coverage is worth it. Sometimes it's not. So here's how they lull you to sleep. You get paid weekly or bi-weekly, okay? And you pay for your whole family, and it comes out of your check and you never see it. Well, guess what? If you pay $40 a week for your dental for your family, that's over $160 a month, probably without doing the math. $170 a month. That is a ton of money to pay for a dental policy, just for example. Okay, if you're paying anything more than $100 a month for a family for dental, you're probably paying too much on that group coverage. Vision, usually, I'll tell you just as a general rule, usually vision coverage on a group is very good for the most part. But a good general rule is if it's more than $10 a month a person, it might be a good option to look at something outside of your group. You don't have to take that vision coverage. You don't have to take that dental. It's there if you want it. You're given usually a decent price for it, but a lot of times you don't have a high-end benefit, and it's just kind of run-of-the-mill coverage. So if you're not paying peanuts for it, doesn't make a lot of mathematical sense sometimes. Sometimes you can get a better benefit for the same price, or you could even save on the price and get a better benefit, or at least get comparable benefits and not have to worry about whether your group decides to drop them or dealing with weekly payments or whatever. So there are a lot of options there. Okay. So dental is something that I really would argue is worth it if the math works. Ultimately, it's all about the math. To me, it's not always that, but if you can afford $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, no problem. Oh well, fine. I've also heard of implants possibly costing as much as a used car, like $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 sometimes. So there are situations where, gosh, if I could get a $5,000 benefit, I could certainly use that. There's even one that I've heard about they've come out with that's a $10,000 benefit. Okay, so some of these things are things you really want to consider. If you have needs, look into it. You can get your dentures covered. You can get your implants covered. You can get your crowns and bridges covered day one in most, I believe, all states. But you got to do your research and check it out. I would encourage you, don't be discouraged by your dentist telling you that they don't trust insurance or whatever. That's because they don't like how the insurance companies pay them. If they just take cash, they're going to make more money and it's less hassle for them. I tell people that dental, vision, and hearing is the Wild West still. Those dentists and vision doctors and everybody, they have tons of incentive and don't have a lot of regulations that keep them from deceiving you if they feel like it, to be honest. I'm not saying all of them are crooks. I'm not saying all of them are bad people. Most of them are good people, but they also have incentive to not tell you the full truth, and consequently, anybody without, the Pollyanna mentality potentially could lead you down a road and cost you money because they have every reason to try to make as much money as they can. So just be aware of what people are motivated by. The dentist and optometrist and vision people, hearing people, whatever, obviously they're in their career to provide for their family and make an income. Well, a lot of times they can make a lot of money by not dealing with insurance. So just keep that in mind and make sure that you really pay attention to more than just their voice. Take on other advice besides just comments from people that are biased. And don't take your insurance agent's advice at face value either all the time. I mean, I'm not saying to do that either. But you wanna make sure that you have the full picture and you're not just assuming that you think you know. So just wanted to really encourage you guys, reconsider dental, vision, and hearing insurance. It is worth it if you find the right company that makes sense with the right dentist or vision professional or whatever that works for your situation. Don't give up. It's worth it. Even if you have millions of dollars, do the math. It will be worth it. You will come out ahead on investing if you go to the dentist and if you go to the eye doctor. It is worth it if you do those things. If you don't, pass on it because you're paying extra premium. But if you do those things, it encourages you to go take care of yourself, and it makes sure that you have coverage that you're going to save some money. Good luck out there. Like I said, it's the Wild West. So get your cowboy boots on, get your hat, and get your rope, and make sure that you take care of your teeth, your eyes, and your ears. God bless.